Welcome to the Gaze Insights platform. My name is Angela, your host. On this show, on the Gaze Insights platform, where we look at women who fall and rise again through perseverance, much as adversity tries to bring them down on a day-to-day basis. Today, we're going to look at the difference between loneliness and being alone. Learning to be alone without feeling lonely is an art. It's something that we have to practice. We don't always assume we're going to live on our own until something happens. You may lose a partner, your children may leave the homestead and go to school, boarding school, or leave your home to start new families. You may find that you have moved out of the same locale or location in which you were before, and now you have to stay on your own. And you have to now contend with what it's like to be alone without the daily buzz of people in your home. And this is where we need to turn solitude into safety. The issues that surround being lonely create many health and emotional challenges for individuals. And we have to understand the difference between being alone and actually feeling lonely. Loneliness hurts. It feels painful. You feel the tangibility of loneliness. But aloneness comes with a totally different feeling to it. Aloneness can heal. This episode is for that woman who is learning how to sit with herself. You want to try it and you don't want to do it with panic. You want to do it without distraction and without fear. Not because you have no one, but because you're finally ready to meet yourself, to be with you, to understand who you are, and to be comfortable in your own space. So, why does being alone always feel so uncomfortable? Silence removes the noise. And we don't like silence because it reveals so many truths to us. Being alone can feel uncomfortable because silence has a way of amplifying what we've been avoiding. And most of the time, we go into avoidance mode by constantly staying on our phones, going through our socials at a breakneck speed, and never stopping. Either we're listening to music, listening to news, watching a movie, listening to other people, making a phone call. We need to hear that chatter in the background. I call it white noise. And because we're constantly seeking something to fill that void, to fill the silence, we don't avoid we don't avoid the process we need to start understanding whether we are comfortable with being alone. So to be able to know the difference and get into it and remove that avoidance, you have to stop scrolling. You have to stop talking, and you have to stop filling space with so many other things. And when you do, your thoughts are definitely going to get louder. All fears surface when we are in silent mode. So many unanswered questions show up. It's almost like something is tapping you on the shoulder and telling you, remember me? Your feelings are telling you, you postponed feeling this particular emotion. Do you remember me? And as it keeps tapping on your shoulder, you get so distraught that the silence is bringing up things you don't want to deal with. And yet we need to contend with ourselves. We need to look inward and see what are those things as an individual that we don't like about ourselves, that we avoid about ourselves, that we haven't healed about ourselves, which aloneness can help us to delve deeply into. So loneliness is not always about missing people. Sometimes it's about avoiding yourself. And you need to take that step to start the process of being alone and comfortable with it so that you can learn to love you and the person that you are. Now, there's a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is emptiness, while solitude is presence. Loneliness feels like there's an absence, there's something you want. You want the tangibility of that thing. You miss it. You want to see it. You physically want to see somebody, hear the noise, do something, dance, sing. You want something tangible. And when you're lonely, you feel the absence of all these things that normally would take up that space. And that feeling of something is missing is what now drops us into that lonely space. Solitude, on the other hand, feels like presence, like something is finally allowed. Um, uh, Solitude is about you sitting in your own comfort and accepting that it feels good to be in a calm space on your own without interference, without disturbance. So you can feel lonely in a room full of people, and you can also feel deeply peaceful alone. The difference isn't who's around you, it's whether you feel connected to yourself. Are you able to sit with yourself? Not just sitting for the sake of proving a point, but sitting with yourself to fully enjoy that process. Sitting with yourself is not about fixing, it's not about improving, it's not about doing, it's about you just being. Taking a moment to just be, to stay in what we call the 0 point, to be centered, to be balanced. Sitting with yourself doesn't mean having answers. You may not have answers for everything. It means you're not running away from your thoughts, you're not numbing your feelings. It also means you're not feeling every quiet moment. It's just being in a specific moment in time, feeling nothing. At first, it's awkward, and you might feel restless, bored even. You may also get jittery, uneasy, and start fidgeting around. But that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something new because it means you're doing nothing, and in that nothingness, your inner thoughts can now take center stage. So, why do many women and men fear aloneness? Because they've always been needed. We've always felt we need to do this for this one, that for the other one. We have chores to do, we have laundry to do, we have housework, we have careers, we have church related things, we have the community. There's so much going on. And because you're constantly always being needed, you find there's no time to be alone. You fear being alone. And this fear of being alone is tied to our loss of our identity because our identity has then been tied to caregivers, to relationships, to feeling needed, to being useful. When no one needs you, you begin to wonder, who am I now? But aloneness is not abandonment. It's a return. It's a return to you, a return to self. It's also a chance to know yourself beyond roles and beyond the responsibilities and beyond the chatter. So you need to rebuild that inner companionship with yourself. Become someone you can sit with. Inner companionship means learning how to be kind company to yourself. And that comes through how you speak to yourself, how you treat your own emotions, and how patient you are with that process. We don't often have a big bowl or bucket of patience, especially when it concerns ourselves. We hide ourselves in other people. But you need to be patient with your process. So instead of criticizing your thoughts and your entire process, get curious. What am I like when I'm alone and comfortable with it? Instead of rushing yourself, slow down. We don't always have to be in a hurry. Be present. Instead of judging your feelings, listen. Listen to your feelings. We listen to everybody else, but we don't listen to our own feelings. And we get hurt in the process. Become someone you can trust. And if you can trust yourself, then others will begin to trust you. How are you going to do this? How are you going to make solitude safe? You need small exercises, small rituals, small activities that you do regularly that ground you. How best do you feel grounded? Do you take a walk? Do you sit in the garden and observe nature? Do you listen to nature sounds? Do you prefer to be in a dim lit room where you feel everything is slowing down with the mood, the right tone? Everybody has their own way of grounding. Solitude becomes safe when it feels intentional. And you can also try small activities, small exercises. Like, for example, if you're taking a cup of tea, try doing it without your phone. Don't scroll on your phone as you have your breakfast. Take a short walk with no music. Get up in the morning and for 30 minutes, don't touch your phone. Don't touch the TV remote. Don't get any gadget on. Simply relax for 30 minutes and see how you feel. You could also try journaling. Those who know how to journal, try one honest sentence a day. Don't use AI to replicate the sentences. Don't look for people's quotes to inspire you in that moment. Write what comes from you being silent in that alone moment. You don't need hours. You need consistency on some of these practices because safety is built through repetition. And when loneliness visits, meet it gently, meet it softly, not forcefully. When that silence and that loneliness comes and you're feeling depressed and sad that you're on your own, look at it as a friend. Don't look at it as something that agitates you. Loneliness will still visit sometimes when you're on your own, and that's human. But when it does, don't shame it, don't panic. Don't panic and start looking for food because some of us eat when we're lonely, when we're upset. Don't panic and start grabbing onto every gadget and using up all your funds to subscribe to so many different games. Don't distract yourself immediately. Pause, acknowledge it. Tell that loneliness, I see you, I'm here, we're in it together. We don't need to escape this moment. Let's be calm. Loneliness will lose its power when you witness it, not when you resist it. And as we go through this, we also start using this process to think through our connections, to be intentional in these thoughts of our lives outside that aloneness, because aloneness sharpens our discernment. Learning to be alone helps you to choose better connections. It helps you to understand that thing that has bothered you the whole day. It gives you a new perspective to everything you're doing. So with this, you find that you stop clinging to people out of fear because you're grounded. You stop overgiving to avoid emptiness because you now know how to withhold. You're able to hold back and say, I will deal with that issue later, or I'll touch that snack a bit later. So you learn how to pace yourself. You also learn how you stop staying in spaces that drain you because now you're comfortable with being alone. So there's no issue with actually sitting back and leaving the place that you feel is agitating you. So you start choosing relationships from fullness and not from lack. And aloneness will teach you what feels nourishing. Redefine your life, um, especially if you want a full life. Have presence. To do that, you have to put presence over that noise, over the white noise, the chatter. A full life is not one that's packed with people or plans. It's one where you feel at home inside yourself. And when you feel inside yourself, people around you will also feel at home inside themselves. And where quiet doesn't scare you, where you own your own company and you feel steady, where you can be alone and still feel whole, that is not isolation. It's you integrating. Use small practices, micro practices, I call them. And for this week, try saying, I'm going to have one safe moment alone. This week, that one moment you choose should be intentional for you to be alone. Take off the phone, turn off the screens. You'll watch your Netflix a bit later. Remove all distractions and just stay on your own. 5 minutes is enough. Notice what comes up, notice what settles, and notice what softens. And that's how inner companionship begins. You are not empty, you are learning yourself. And through this process, it means that you're loved. It doesn't mean that you're unloved. It means you're yearning to love your own presence. Solitude is not a punishment, it's a refuge. And when you make peace with being alone, you stop fearing abandonment, you stop chasing connections, and you start choosing wisely for yourself. That is not loneliness. That is rising quietly, steadily, and whole. And that concludes today's session. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, thank you for listening in. And those who've returned for yet another episode, I want to thank you for joining us as well. If you'd like a specific topic, please put it in our comment box. Like, share, subscribe, share with others who you feel would learn a thing or two from the Gaze Insights platform, where we ramble and look at insights that affect us as women, as adults, and men who are also interested in similar topics. I look forward to being with you in yet another episode. Have a pleasant day and join us again as we meet on the next one. Bye for now.